Ladies and gents, it's Jake, aka Countdown Ended, coming to you once again. Here to bring you some, into somewhere. Special weekend edition, because holy hell, that show far exceeded my expectations. I really didn't know what to expect. Were they going to go out heavy-handed and just strictly all Lucha all the time, or are they going to kind of let it bleed and blend through? And I really enjoyed this from top to bottom. Let me know what you guys liked the most in the chat, please. Hopefully you're doing well this weekend. It has been a wild week with a lot that's happened. I mean, since the last time we spoke, I've managed to somehow break my foot again, so now I'm in a walking boot. This is like the third summer in a row that I'm in this fucking thing. Like, I am just falling to pieces, chat. Falling to pieces. But you know what? The wrestling was great. This show, from top to bottom, it was fun. And all right, so I don't care too much about the, Mr. Iguana and him being beaten down in his, stuffed animal that has a family, damn it. That's right. No, knife eat. I was, a little less than enthused, but you know what? I was like, it's all in the presentation that is fun, family friendly for some of it. Other things, excuse me, like the main event, go above and beyond what I expected them to, because Chad, I knew we would get a main event caliber main event, if that makes sense. But this one just, wow, it makes Chad look great as an instant stand-in, like, oh, this guy will always deliver. And he's only getting better, so soon he'll capture a big title. It has that kind of feel to it. And then Vikingo gets this huge elevation of a real eyes on you from every angle main event. People are tuning in worldwide to see what happens here, and especially with Chad's involvement, because people thought. And then on top of it, what do? They put it out free on YouTube. That's right, Ryan. Ryan the Heel said they surprised me a lot. This was really good and brought new fans to AAA. I agree entirely. This was fun. Even the silly stuff wasn't like, horrifically silly. Things were just enjoyable. So I'm a little lacking sleep. You can tell by the bags under my eyes. I've been up for, again, I think I got 4 hours of sleep in like 5 days now. 4. I can do math. I can count to 4. Yeah. All right. We're doing good there. So tonight is going to be the actual party. We'll have a few special guests stopping by besides the regular crew. So that's going to be cool. Make sure you go ahead and tune in for that later on. So hit the like button now because you love me and I appreciate it. It helps out the channel immensely. And go ahead and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Pretty please. I beg of thee, because we're going to be live a bunch. Besides our Money in the Bank review tonight, we'll be live Monday night for the fallout of Money in the Bank for the Raw review. So make sure you tune into that as well. Monday night, we're also going to be announcing a few big, announcements in the sense of like channel lineups, what new shows we have coming, more guilty or guilt-free episodes coming up as well. Our third episode with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley got over 1,000 views so far in a few days, so that's great. We hit over 7,500 subscribers. So it was just, it was great. It was fun. And it's just a matter of time before somebody recognizes the greatness, my friends. So let's get into it. It's June 7th, 2025, and we're in Inglewood, California for Worlds Collide. It's the crossover match of WWE, AAA, NXT, and everybody in between. They had a really, really, really great edited package in the beginning. Love that package. So good. And they go ahead and I got it.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
That's right, Peacekeeper. So I said it had to happen. All right. But great video package. Loved it. Rey Mysterio being the narrator works perfect. He's like the anti-Morgan Freeman in the sense of like his voice is melodic, but it's attention grabbing still. It's for a complete different reason, but that's what he reminds me of in like some type of tonal way. You saw Triple H and Shawn and the AAA president, Maricela Pina, and they all got their flowers in the middle of the ring, and then we heard both national anthems, and the Mexican fans did not boo the American national anthem. No, they cheered Lillian Garcia on. So Spaz, buddy, pal, now I'm hoping Naomi wins Money in the Bank, just because you brought this upon yourself, and consequences, my friend. Actions have consequences. You allowed your Canadian brethren to boo our national anthem over something the people really have no control over. You can say, "Oh, you elected him. Whatever. Yeah. But Naomi's going to win the Money in the Bank now because you jinxed everybody. I'm telling you." Dominic Mysterio defending the IC Championship against Octagon Jr. at Money in the Bank, we will get into, which is a great addition. I kept saying last night on SmackDown, I'm like, all right, so when are they going to, I watched it this morning, but I'm like, when are they going to announce a fifth match? Goddamn. I guess that's, they didn't announce a goddamn thing. And I was like, all right, that solves that. Excuse me. Yeah, Conan was great. Throughout all of this, he had me cracking up. I was waiting for the where's my music, but we didn't get that far with Vampiro. So Conan tonight was just sloppy, and not in a bad way, in the way of like he shits on things, but in a loving sense. He is just overly excellent and manages to just, like Milo, go ape shit. Don't mind him for a second. But it's funny because everything in the way they presented it and how it happened was just excellent. Like the commentary was so, and I don't want to sound like overly hyperbolic here, but it was insanity bottled up and sprinkled with a little bit of crack on top. I mean, Conan was nuts, talking about shit that made no sense at points and asking questions. And poor Corey Graves sounded at one point so defeated, but then he kind of had fun with it. I don't know. It was a lot. Conan was going 1,000 miles a minute. I have some notes about stuff he was saying, but he just managed to work in some of the funniest lines throughout. And I mean, he's timeless, just like Jesse Ventura. I said, it sounded like he lost his mind and forgot where he was at least twice. I said, we need to put him back in the retirement home. It's sundown. He's getting senile. It was during one of the matches. He told the whole story, something about a birthday party and his cousin and all that, and it went nowhere. It literally went It had nothing to do with the match. Maybe somebody's family was related, but it just was a wet fart. Like nothing came out of this. It was just a story that went zero. Zero miedo. It went nowhere. No fear of that shit. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones off the hand, but like it was just absolutely hilarious. I was just dying laughing the entire time because he's just real. That's what it is. He's Conan. He's actually himself. That's what makes him great. That's what makes him enjoyable. Like I loved it. And we certainly had a lot of fun with it. So thank you guys for being here as always. The first match they had on the card was the LWO. So Dragon Lee, Lince Dorado, and Cruz del Toro taking on Octagon, Junior, Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana. So this one actually had, well, first off, this crowd, absolutely incredible. This crowd was amazing. I said it a couple of times tonight, like this crowd, they deserved like a WrestleMania worthy event. They were going absolutely insane. So let me go ahead and not be a boomer here and go ahead and show you what I'm seeing, folks. But yeah, during this opening match, the way it was set up, and this is the tweet that I had put out, so we'll go ahead and do it this way with the quick capture. And hold on, let me turn this on so you guys can hear the audio as well. But the crowd.
And now they're facing each other in the ring.
I mean, and then people are like, oh, but they were like that the entire night. They had chants going.
Favorites are in this one. It looks like we're
for Laredo. I mean, that was absolutely incredible to see, to hear. I really can't express or truly find the words to help convey how the lightning in the bottle moments, that's my favorite part of wrestling. It's not the matches, it's not the entrances, it's not the pomp and circumstance even at all. It's those moments where the crowd is so excited that they have to yell because they don't know what else to do. Like, oh my God. Like I will always remember when The Rock's music hit and my grandmother fell out of her chair. She was standing on top of it to try and take a Polaroid photo, and she wanted a better view. And his music hit, and he interrupted to like save somebody for the match, and she falls off the chair. Like, it was hilarious, and there she is going backwards, and that's what Gaga was all about. But the point was, the crowd had these just amazing moments. I have gone back to the Clash last year just because of AJ versus Cody, simply because of the reaction to both men, but especially AJ Styles. They're serenading him with their language, like the phenomenal chant, and it was a bit amusing how with the overseas tour, when they got back, when WWE came back to do local shows to the United States, the fans were trying to emulate, like, they did some of the chants, and a couple of them stuck. I don't mind I like a good Cody Rhodes every now and again, like the rest of us. But I don't know. I'm not crazy about them trying to adopt every other chant. Like, you guys need things of your own. Those are their football chants and things of that nature that they brought out towards and to support wrestling. But yeah, the crowd was incredible, top-notch level, best of type deal here. And a lot of these people are going to just go ahead, walk outside, go a few blocks over, and go to the Intuit Dome for Money in the Bank. So talk about being lucky. But right away, they show us Liv and Dom. They're sitting on the outside of ringside, and they have their seat. And they're like, oh, look at that, Conan, that's Dom's godfather. So more with the family. And now Conan gave the very loud and clear explanation that, folks, this is not the wrestling you're used to. There's some changes. You're going to have some changes, and you have to have an open mind because it's not typical wrestling. And I was like, I believe most people understand what Lucha is, or at least to that extent. And though they had Lucha tonight and they had some of the silly stuff with the iguana, they never went too insane with it where you get the 30 guys standing like quail. They avoided those spots, I feel like, for the most part. So right away, the crowd is going nuts for Mr. Iguana, and he gets in there and he's got his little stuffed iguana. I didn't catch the name of it. And they basically eventually grab the stuffed iguana and start beating it up, and he ends up getting it back, and because it was Dorado, I think, that was stomping on it. And then it was a Dorado, or I think it was Dorado that did a shooting star press on it. And now he's getting his revenge, and he's like, oh, so he goes and hits a big head scissors takedown. So Iguana took down Dorado. And then everybody does some big dives, and we got a big top rope super Rana, and Octagon hit a big moonsault, and it was it. 1, 2, 3. So the good guys, Octagon Jr., Aerostar, Mr. Iguana, and his little stuffed friend, go ahead and get the victory. So Conan could not have sounded more and less interested at the same time. I know you're like, Jake, are you on drugs? Like, what does that mean? No, really. It's baffling. He legitimately sounded like that was the most amazing thing and the worst thing ever that he's ever seen, and he combined both of those emotions. He was in such a weird state. Conan was like happy, sad, happy, sad. Like, it was just weird. He was on this forever up and down chemical roller coaster. So he was like, oh, I don't understand. Oh my God. Like, he was popping his ass off, and then he was like, oh, everyone wrestled their asses off. And then he starts like criticizing them afterwards. Whatever. His hypocritical nature made for more fun listening to it. But now Dominic, he grabs a mic and instantly getting nuclear heat there. And everybody's chanting it, Liv, we see your asshole. No, that comes up later with Stephanie. So Dom is there, and Octagon Jr., he's like, I know you're a big Rey Mysterio fan, but you forget I'm the real champion. And then Octagon came over, and he said something in Spanish. I'm sorry, I wasn't quick enough with my translator, but he basically goes ahead and says something, and he grabs Dom and he rips him over the barricade, and they just beat each other's ass till they get pulled apart. Really nice, takeaway brawl here. When they have these pull aparts, a lot of times, like Karrion Kross said with Bobby Lashley, like, who's going to break us up and what happens if they don't? Like, that's kind of the rule you don't see. Like, guys, Seth does it a lot too, where he stops swinging because he knows security has him and he just like gives up. Like, oh, I know they're going to stop me, so I'm just done. As where the one bar fight I've ever gotten to in my life, long and short of it, and my buddy's ex was there. She got hit by a crowd surfer and he hurt her pretty good. And when he came back, she was coming out of the bathroom with ice on her arm, and she was like kind of just walking by, and he was like, "Oh, you were in my way," and she's like, "What?" She's like, "How come you can't just apologize?" And he called her a bitch, and she went to like get into his face, and he pushed her. So I saw this, and I beat the ever loving shit out of him. And then his buddies jumped me, and then security were pulling everybody apart. But I took out, his two buddies there, and then more of his friends. I just was outnumbered, but my other two friends kind of just were like walked out by security, as where there's four guys, one for each of my limbs as I'm flailing, beating people. You can't hit women. That's not allowed. And that's how this felt tonight. This felt real. Like they really wanted to rip each other's head off. Like Dom was like, "No, fuck you. I'm a real champ. You're not going to idolize my father. He's old and dusty. You should idolize the real Mysterio. I am the living legend." Like that kind of thing is so relatable, because you're like, your dad, I would kill to have your father. I would love to have Rey Mysterio as a dad. He's a doting father that was there for you, that loves you. And of course, that's how we interpret it. That's why Rey remains the face, the good guy. It's more of that relatable storytelling that I love. And it's a lot of long-term storytelling too. You figure how long it took Dom to turn. I mean, it was years basically for him being by his father's side. So the crowd made this match what it was. It was fun. It was silly. The iguana stuff I could have dealt without on this level or caliber of a show, but hey, you want to make people laugh, and it didn't compromise the match at all. So not a negative point whatsoever. I need to refuel. We saw EO in the Money in the Bank side pot. Tiffany was there. They said they're watching all the women. And that's when we get Chick, Tormenta, and Dailies. And they go ahead and they make a pretty cool entrance. And then we get Lola Vice. She gets a monstrous pop for her. And then you thought that was big. Ladies, let me introduce you to my cousin. Senior Sausage, Hey, you don't need to order sausage. His comes with the pizza. Giggity. No, really, this was incredible because the ovation she got, I wish they had the decibel meter on. It shook the camera pretty much. Like it just made everybody was going nuts to see Stephanie McMahon walk out there, and I don't blame them. And the way WWE has welcomed these NXT stars into the wider audience of the main roster, they did it in such a great way. Like, oh, they're just promoting the live NXT. So you're still like, oh, okay, those are the NXT people, but they're really good. I want to pay attention to them. So some do watch NXT, but now when they appear more and more, and he added vignettes and he added, so those decisions are great, but I feel like they just made it easy to connect with the talent. And you see like, oh, she's a badass. She stands up for herself and others, and she's really, she's that damn good. It's hard. I imagine it's hard not to enjoy Stephanie McMahon. You got to be really like finding a reason to be unhappy when she's in a match or around. Even the squash matches she's had, a few of them have been like fantastic just because of how she handled it. So the tag match here is just a lot of fun, a lot of heat early on. Basically, Stephanie, she's trying to hit her special move early on. She wants to get the leg driver, but she can't. They end up blocking it, and then she's like, "Oh, let's go ahead and let's get the devil's kiss. I'm going to slam your ass into my face and smack the mat." And oh no, she blocked it. We can't get it. So now the crowd is really mad and booing. And we saw a lot of like hip attacks from Lola, a couple near falls. Chick Tormenta got a huge power slam on Lola for a good near fall. That was cool. Basically, you had after that, Vice just kind of gets beat down for a little bit. She turns, she gets the hot tag on Stephanie. And they use their legs and they smack both of their opponents' faces into the mat. It was really cool. They managed to have a unique offense that you don't often see with two single stars that join as a tag team. They acted as if they've been tagging for years. They really had fluidity. They were snappy. You know what I mean? There was no hesitation between these two. Like when they did that toss off, like snap suplex moment, as I started to mention, like it was made into a driver, but it was like they had like this psychic tag team connection that you see FDR has, and people that are to Ivar and Eric, the New Day. Like you have to be on the road to people 20 years to get it, and pairing these two up, I know they've worked before together, but not in a long time and not in this fashion. So it's pretty incredible that the way they were able to dominate without always dominating was so fantastic. They told a really good story here because there was no dissension between Stephanie and Lola. They supported each other through and through. So it's nice to see you eventually have some friends that can be supportive friends, and not everybody has to turn. Not everybody has to have jealousy. Because now Lola can go for the title with JC or Mariah or, X, Y, and Z. Stephanie's on to bigger and better things, essentially, with the Money in the Bank. And the two of them, they just met at a point where it was like the crossroads only intersect here, and we'll see each other again in the future. But this was like her farewell to NXT. What a great way to go out. Really, really fun match. Basically, Stephanie hits Tormenta with the backbreaker, the SBB. She pins her, and basically they say, like, oh, yeah, with that, now the student has become the master, the student beat the teacher, finally, because, they had that connection between her and Chick Tormenta. She trained, Stephanie back in Mexico, so that's cool. It was like a 9.5-minute match. They probably could have even had a little bit longer here, but it was very solid. It was very entertaining. It was very watchable. It was fun. I would stay, in that kind of lineup for this so far. Like things are enjoyable. They're moving along. Things are progressing, and it's all been just entertaining. The wrestling's really good. So they had their lucha moments, like especially I mentioned in the first match, but less so in this. There really wasn't a lot of shenanigans and nether falls and weapons, and it just didn't have it. After this, they did show Chavo Guerrero in the audience. That was funny because he got a monstrous reaction as well. This crowd was ready to cheer anybody. It could have been the Domino's delivery guy, and these people would just be like, they'd be rocking that shit. So
Hearing everybody go absolutely banana.
yeah, that's right, Punk. So now we get Legado del Fantasma. So we get Santos, Angel, and Humberto Carrillo taking on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. That's going to be a lot. Just calling him Jr. Psycho Clown and Pagano. Now, I try, chat, guys. I try. I try to be as neutral or giving people, a fair shake. I can be, trying to hold off criticism without going ahead and totally, alienating one side or the other. But there's been somebody that's been around for the almost nearing, I want to say like at least 20 years at this point, maybe less, but he's been around for quite some time, and it's Pagano. And I have just never cared for him. I never saw the interest for him. I don't mean it rudely, but every time I've seen him, it's been in botch highlight videos where he's done nothing but screw things up repeatedly after, suplexes and hurt ranas and destroyers and all these things. People are like, oh, but what about the Extreme Rules type match or death match where they were chained together? And it's like, oh yeah, because you guys are unable to be separate. So that's that's wrestling. But I guess he was able to take a lot of pain in the death match, run over there. He managed to build up a name for himself, and then he got into Lucha Libre, and I couldn't stand him in that. Honestly, that was like, people call it X-Pac heat. That was change the channel heat with me when he was on. It was just his work rate was always sloppy. He had a bad ego, it seemed like, and I hate to be that judgmental, but it was just somebody that I was not able to enjoy, much like Alicia Fox. Like that was the male version of it here. And tonight, I feel like, or I should say this afternoon, he messed up quite a bit. It wasn't terrible, but there were spots where it was like, all right, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to go through my notes and go back here. I had them pulled up before, and then I had an update right when we started the show. So that's always fun. But yeah, here, hold on. I'm trying to find the moment as we go ahead and search through. But I don't know. I was just baffled by how it was handled. I mean, there was a lot of botches, and he's not one of my favorites. That's for certain. Needs anybody else could have been in there. It would have been better, honestly. At that point, I would have been much happier. So this match, as I said, it was fun. It was enjoyable. Just there really wasn't much to talk about. It had a lot of time, but it was just a bunch of rapid fire, one after the other, spot, 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 spot. Oh, now we got another Eddie tribute. And then, oh no, the heel stomped him. Boo. Like, this one felt very paint by numbers and heavily of the Lucha influence. So I was less interested in this. I was hoping they kind of move things on from here. It was just, the whole thing was getting to the point of, like, the quails lining up to be hunted again and things of the such. So yeah, I was not thrilled with this match here, and it wasn't horrible by any means. It wasn't boring. See, to me, it was worse than boring. It was they were being safe, and I don't want people to get hurt either, but I'm saying, like, the real, like, when they take the fall and then they hold their head, then go back, like, I get it. You don't want to hurt yourself, fine, but don't make it so obvious. The selling was non-existent at times, and that's a lot of Lucha stuff. They do death stunts and they get back up. I shot him 9 times. But you forgot I was holding the Bible. Oh, que hora es? That skit show was great. What time is it? Que hora es? So, Legado del Fantasma, Escobar goes ahead and he hits Junior there with a big knee. Gets him up, does the Phantom Driver, pins him, bam, 1, 2, 3. And no one got, a light tube shoved up their ass and broken off. No one got, a pool cue stick, just sounded right into their pee hole. No one got any of those stupid ass barbed wire covered skewers plugged into their head. We didn't see any staple guns. We didn't see any propane. We didn't see any explosives. Thank you, Pagano, for not being a total fucking useless son of a bitch. I salute you, sir. Usually he is just deathmatch extraordinaire, like Necro Butcher style, and how Dean Ambrose used to do it with deathmatch in the deathmatch tournaments of death. That's what I'm trying to think of. Money in the Bank review, folks, is gonna be interesting. It won't be just me here tonight, so it will be extra juicy and entertaining. But make sure you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so we know you're there for later tonight. The link for the stream should already be up. I will throw that in the chat eventually for you lovely folks. And I really want to say thank you once more. We're at 7,597 right now. Wow, that's that went up even more. We were just at 7,500, so we're on the up and up there, folks. Woo, baby. I want to thank you all for that. That's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible. I've always had a great affinity for wrestling, and I like to talk. I listened to radio talk shows my whole life growing up. I used to play DJ. The other day, I talked to an old friend of mine from high school and college. He was my roommate, and we don't get to see each other often as I'd like, but he's a great guy, and his name's John. We're talking back and forth, and I used to make commercials. I would do like the Real Men of Genius. I would take those, and then I would make our own, so that when we were out and we'd get high and go to like Taco Bell for runs for food and stuff, we would play it. So we would, because you had to have either an auxiliary cable, or we used to have a tape player that took the tape cassette, but that had the auxiliary line to it. So that was sweet. And we used to hook up the iPods and whatnot to that down the line, but this had to go right into the ye old Walkman. So if the car bounced, the CD skipped. And when we finally got the iPods, it was revolutionary. I was like, oh my God, I can shake it. It's not skipping, you know. But I still look back fondly at that because I used to insert commercials between the songs we wanted to hear because I had to DJ. I had like music keys queued up, so I knew like, all right, I have until 59 seconds to talk, and that's when the music, beat kicks in, the singer starts, and I would do all these ad libs, and it was great. It's the fun times that you look back on. So. I know, Liz. I'm going to start selling some subs. You guys can actually, if you want to buy, I'm selling them 3 for 1 right now. If you buy one, you get 3 free. So basically, it's a 4-pack for the price of 1. Can't beat that. Cheers to you, great folks. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. As I said earlier to Spaz, I'm like, this show really isn't going to have a great deal to talk about. Excuse me, but what I was looking forward to the most happened next, and we had Ethan Page taking on Javon Evans, taking on Ray Phoenix, taking on Laredo Kid. Laredo. They were chanting loud for him. Laredo. No, Laredo. No, Laredo. No, Laredo. Oh, fucking Laredo. Never mind. So Ethan Page comes out to a great hero response. This crowd wanted to have his head cut off, and they wanted to shove it up his own ass. That was some great heat. So we go ahead, and Lillian does an awesome job. I know I sound like such a fanboy-ish with the comments or a mark with this, but like seeing Lillian again is like, oh, it's like my teenage years, and it's great to see her, back in the ring, and she just looks happy when she's doing it. Like Samantha at the end, yeah, she had some great moments, but you saw it kind of like the soul left her, as where Lillian's like just loving every bit of it, and her doing the Spanish announcements as well was just like, that was a cool moment. We heard her sing the national anthem early on. She nailed that, of course, and it was just a really nostalgic way to cap it all off. I really enjoyed, like I said before, the video package that opened was great. Both the national anthems. So it was Deira Barrera for the Mexican national anthem and Lillian for the American. But yeah, I mean, just an incredible opening. This match, excuse me, get bouncy because Youngblood, Javon was all over the place. Basically, Ethan Page starts off with a Hurricane Rana, and he just smiles and cheesy grin, twisted grin to the audience, and they're like, "Come on, how do you feel?" Like, oh, and they're like, "Look at him, he's doing his own move," and it was just funny to see the reaction of both commentary, Conan, and the bad guys. So Laredo went ahead and he hit a huge Michinoku driver on Phoenix, and I was like, "Oh dear God, that was painful. That has to hurt." And we'll see Chad almost die later on, but eventually Laredo Kid goes up top, and Javon just knocks him down, and then gets him upside down to a tree of woe. And Javon goes ahead and he throws Ethan out of the ring with a big German suplex. So he's gone, and he shakes the ropes, and then he's going into warrior mode, and he hit a huge coast to coast dive. Ah, chef's kiss. Mwah, so good. On to Page, he was like, it just hits the other side. He's always impressive. Like, that was such a cool, like, big dive, and then, going to the other corner, and all of it was just awesome. Just seeing him basically jump from one side and then do like a flip kick, basically on the Laredo was still like so badass. So like to get everything at once, like he went ahead, he stops his opponent, so he stops Laredo from getting a drop on him. He puts him in the tree of woe upside down. He gets rid of Ethan Page with a German suplex. He goes ahead, he goes into warrior mode, but Ethan Page, grabs him, and he ends up on the outside, taking him on, and hit him through the, into the broadcast table. They both go and spill over the outside, and that's when Javon gets back in, and he gets that big flip kick, and it was just like incredible that he hit that coast to coast. Just so much chaos. And Javon is still able to do like move after move after move, but it doesn't feel like a set after set after set move. It felt fluid. It felt, as I said before, I'm trying to think of a better word, but that really is encapsulating and really just facilitates what I'm trying to convey. That is it. You know, it's just goddamn impressive. And everything just feels fluid. It flows nicely. I'm excited because pretty much throughout the entire broadcast, everything made sense. There wasn't a point where like, oh, but why would you do that move? Like everyone was talking about, obviously, Penta, you know, damn near killing Chad Gable and dropping him on his neck. And I had said, like, what were you trying to achieve with that? And this is Raw. This is WWE, guys. And I was like, well, where were you going? Because you have him on your back, and then obviously Chad's in your front. So if you've got him like that pile drive, like what were you doing to the guy on your back? Then he's gonna land on his butt. Like what? So none of it made sense anyway. So I don't even know what the move would have been had he pulled it off. That would have been anything effective. So those are the moments where it's like somebody got hurt. They got hurt over bullshit, and the bullshit made no sense. So it was like super bullshit. There's enough you can do to have these crazy moments and wild, wild things, and to go ahead and waste it on a spot like that really just feels like, ugh, a big waste. Excuse me, folks. But all in all, I mean, this was just top-notch fun. They had a really predictably expected outcome, but it was very well executed. So obviously, there's just total chaos. So Page, he hits Ray Phoenix with the Ego's Edge, you know, the power bomb, the Razor's Edge there, and he goes to get the 3 count, but then Evans comes down from the heavens and just breaks up the pin with his fucking body like a bullet. Boom! Comes down and smacks him into oblivion. And I was like, holy dear God, how did that feel? That's going to hurt in the morning, folks. That's going to be painful. So we go ahead from there and we see just unbelievable test of strength with all of it. Like I said, you know, just took it down. The fans are chanting, "This is awesome." It's so cool. So then he goes ahead and he gets the pin broken up. So Javon, he hits the cutter on Laredo Kid. And then all of a sudden, evil bastard Ethan Page gets up, throws Javon into Ray Phoenix on the floor, hits the cutter himself, the twisted grin on Laredo. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I said he would retain. There was a lot of risk and reward scenarios tonight, and I liked how some of them were foregone conclusions in the sense of like, hey, there it is tonight. Check that off your bingo board, Spaz. That's my bucket list. I was excited because I'm like, things just made sense. Why did they do this? Well, they did this for this, and then this set up this, but everything just aligned. It was action packed at a blistering fast pace. They did not let up for the entire time. It was almost a 15-minute match, and I had like 14:51. I believe it was a little longer, but still, at that point, I was like, oh, this is match of the night. Main event's not beating this. The way they did the false hope spots, too, because before that, I mean, so much built up to it even before that, and if I go move by move, we'll be here all day, but basically, like, Evans and Kidd were both on the ropes, and then Ethan jumps up, and then he shoved Phoenix into them, and then everybody gets toppled down. And that's when he gets the Ego's Edge, and Phoenix gets out, and then he kicks Page, and it's like everybody just goes nuts. You get a big Spanish fly, big attack on the outside, and that leads to him actually hitting Phoenix with the Razor's Edge or the Ego's Edge. That springboard was great from Javon. Like, all of it. The cutter, just so good. So this match really lived up and exceeded all expectations. And then it was main event time. And I'm like, wow, already. We started at 3. It was like just after 5. Makes sense. We got about 40 minutes till Money in the Bank starts. Casey is Raw is live. I don't know if anybody else is. We'll have to check afterwards. But we gained one more sub. We're at 7,598. So 2 more to go. That's blowing my mind. I telling you folks, but as we get into this match, it is crazy to see just the willingness of Chad Gable to put someone else over every single time. He makes them look better than himself, and it's him doing that. I'm not saying Vikingo isn't excellent. He's excellent. He's been good for a long time. He just, to me, is like a blank fucking sheet or a rock. He's got very little personality and there's not much that interests me about him. I don't know if they can really, come up with another backstory or something, but I don't know. I know they can do things with him. He needs a good deal of time away and then a rehabbing, I'm not saying oh, now he's Mordecai. It doesn't have to be drastic, but he needs to show some personality because he's just this stoic, bland, gray slate. And I know Vikingo could be so much more. And maybe it's just the way he's portrayed up here with us English speaking folks, and he's much better down in Mexico because he is beloved by fans. But for me, I feel like, he was a heel. They cheered him then, and then they just kept cheering. So he eventually went to, kind of flip a few times. Story as old as time in wrestling. The fans want what they want until they don't want it anymore. Hats off to you folks. So this match was incredible. They gave it just enough time. It was just shy of 22 minutes. The introductions from Lillian were fantastic. I love when they get in with that 8K camera, nice and close. I'll show this. We've got to go ahead and check out our new upgrade, the 100-inch television projector. Come on, robot, send us that television. Let's look at this scene. I mean, that's a brutal landing. That has to hurt. That destroyer right on the apron there. That's insane. Thank you, robot. See, we're upgrading technology here. So that was Cody's paycheck. Sorry, Cody. I mean, the thing is great though. You just go ahead and you hit the little button right there. And once you go ahead and do it, you just yeah. So tracks your eyes. It's great. Love it. Love it. I had to sign in with my Alexa though. No, don't order kitty litter. No. Alexa, no. 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 Alexa, no. I think you just ordered laundry soap. All right. So, computer, main event, going awesome. That's right. Thank you. So, I'm going to break that goddamn Alexa. I swear to God. All right. So, Gable goes up to the top rope. He does a moonsault, but Vikingo avoids it, and Gable excellently lands on his tippy toes there. And now Vikingo, he's going to run up to the ropes, and Gable stops him, and they both run up top. And you saw this insanely crazy, wild fucking powerbomb. It was a gigantic sit-out powerbomb. I don't even know how Vikingo took it that clean, but Gable was like, guess what? What goes up now goes down, bitch. Here we go. Woo! And that delivered. That was that was incredible. And I know I'm easy to impress, but holy hell was that. That was like a scary kind of, the way that, not like, oh my God, they got injured, but like, oh my God, how are they ever going to get back up? Like, implication wise, like, oh, that's got to be it. That's got to be it. Gable's winning. That's what I mean by scary. Like, oh, there's no way you're kicking out of that one. But he mustered up the strength, and he did. Vikingo just keeps beating his way back, and he's trying. He gets all the way, jumps up to the top, and he then goes, and that's when this happened. And I mean, he hits this destroyer from the top rope to the apron. And I'm like, we just saw, I thought you died like 10, 20 seconds ago, and now Chad has to be dead. Has to be. No way around it. I mean, how is he not dead? I certainly I don't know, but hold on, I have to refresh the camera. So we go ahead and we see what happens as Gable's neck is completely destroyed, and abracadabra, his neck is completely destroyed. He's not having a good time. I mean, he is just beaten and battered and hurting. And this poor man is on the outside. He's trying to go ahead and muster up some strength, but he can't. Vikingo goes out there, grabs him, and rolls him back into the ring, and immediately he covers him in another good near fall. I love that because it was a little bit of time, but it showed like it hurt that bad. This is what happened. Like he could still possibly get the win, but he doesn't. Chad goes ahead and kicks out, and that's when Gable goes ahead and he gets up top and he gets a huge moonsault that just goes ahead. And it so good, this table spot. I loved it. I loved it. Loved it. Had to hurt like hell. So they both go through the table. Both men are down. I mean, the ref is like 9, 9.5, 9 3/4, 9 7/8, 9 that was basically what the fuck he was doing, because they barely got back in there for the 10 count. One of them ate that table the hard way, and I'm telling you, I think it was Gable. And now he still has to let El Grande Americano borrow his gear for the show later. That's rough. So Gable goes ahead and he gets his wind knocked out of him, and he powers up and he gets an ankle lock using the soul of Kurt Angle, tries to imbue him. It doesn't work. So then he calls upon the spirit of Ken Shamrock, and he wants to get him, but no luck there either. Hits him with a couple of German suplexes, but he reverses, flips, and gets out of it and kicks him. And that's when Vikingo was basically holding onto his knee, and he's like just looking like a wounded deer. But then all of a sudden, it was a ruse. He jumps all the way up the ropes and he hits a massive, massive poison rana, and then hits the freaking the 630. Gets so much air on that second jump. Absolutely incredible. 1, 2, 3. That's his ring bell. So yeah. Wow. Not winning. I'm not so sure. Yeah, I mean, El Grande Americano, I don't think is winning there, but wow, was that one hell of a main event. I mean, really, honest to God, that was incredible. They never got into the false finish, 100 finishers. They never got into that that territory, or where anything of that would be an issue. So that was refreshing. Sometimes they go ahead and they used to anyways, where they would stuff these cards with just nonsense that no one would want to see. I like the 4 to 6 matches. 4 is too little, 6 sometimes too much, but I like the 6, but 5 matches, perfect. We announced before for Money in the Bank. We know now that we've got Dominic Mysterio challenging Octagon Jr. Dominic's defending his IC title. I wonder how that turns out for a last-minute announcement there. Then we have Lyra Valkyria, the women's IC champ. That's why I like both IC titles defended on this show. Next one, it should be both U.S. Alternate them if you're going to have them. Then we got Lyra and Becky. This is a last chance match for the women's IC title. So if Becky loses, she can no longer challenge Lyra for the title for as long as she's champion. But if Lyra loses, she has to raise Becky's hand and acknowledge her as the better woman, the woman. Then, of course, we have 4 letters, 1 word. Cunt. That's right. Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. Those 2 sexy bastards, they're going ahead and taking on Mr. Cena, John Cena, and Logan Paul. This is going to be interesting. I am curious to see what comes of this. It was supposed to be Travis Scott. Apparently, he's not ring ready from what we've heard. That's unfortunate. And obviously, Logan to me is a much better choice. Logan is he's entertaining, even if it's not for me. Like I know he's got charisma. He gets heat naturally. He's good in the ring. He takes care of who he's working with. That's like a big thing that I look into. Even Karrion Kross said that at one point. Like, yeah, he's not somebody that's trying to hurt anybody. Yeah, I know that the chat was all about we want our truth, Cody Ray. And it was funny that we did get a couple lines from, Pat McAfee, what's up? And they want to say stuff, but yet Eddie, that no, can't have that. Oh, what about Carlito? No, yeah. Dominic can have the Carlito shirt on. That's okay for Judgment Day. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want Travis Scott. Wrestling, I didn't mind if he was like a managerial position and trying to be like a millionaire mogul type badass, runs his mouth and he's the financier. He does that kind of stuff. I wouldn't hate that. But putting him in the ring, no, not at all. Not something that I would enjoy. Then, of course, we have the men's Money in the Bank qualifier coming up in about 30 minutes now. Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Andrade, and El Grande Americano taking on Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, and Stephanie in the women's side. So we've got those two. Imagine if they were going head-to-head, 6-on-6, the men versus the women. Oh, yeah. Just, you see Steph curb stomping Alexa.
I like it. Oh, yeah, man.
I don't know why that's so funny. Oh, that would be bad. That would be bad. Penta doing, the Destroyer on Ripley and, LA Knight just hitting Julia. Yeah. Yeah, BFT. That would go over real well, huh, Punk?
Hearing everybody go absolutely banana.
Oh, it's pouring outside here. We've got thunderstorms and whatnot. And if I take my glasses off, my eyes are all like googly-eyed from how bad my head hurts. This has been a pain-filled day, but talking to you folks has certainly made it better. I mean, look, my eyes don't want to focus, so it's kind of bad. Yeah. I look like Shawn Michaels got goofy eye. But when I put my glasses on, they focus again. Focus. There you go. I actually don't have any like sight issues. It's a nerve thing that comes with my brain malformation. So it's like having astigmatism. But yeah, if it's not LA Knight or Rollins, it's not. If not El Grande, yeah, warm in Pacific Northwest. Lucky you, sir. Yeah, it's humid, hot, and wet. Usually that's my favorite place to be, but she has me sleeping on the couch. Yeah, Alexa's like a red herring in this. I don't see her winning. I think it could be Stephanie or Roxanne. Rhea does not need a briefcase. Naomi, people are thinking that's a possibility, and I don't know. I'm surprised Spaz is still breathing after that one coming out of people's mouths, but lo and behold, that's what we get, folks. And what's going on there, Sir Paul? I hope you're doing well with your dear cushion. We're going over the last minute talks of Money in the Bank. All in all, I would give Worlds Collide probably like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. This show was really fun. I would say my favorite would be the fourth match, the Fatal 4-Way for the North American Championship with Javon, Ethan Page, Ray Phoenix, and Laredo Kid. That when I said earlier, best match of the night, the main event was damn good. That would be my second favorite. My third would probably be the opener, because that was a lot of fun with the LWO taking on Octagon Jr., Aerostar, Mr. Iguana. It was still silly fun. And then I would say, before that I would say Stephanie and Lola. Then I would say the first match, and then of course the other one goes last, because I'm not a fan of Pagano. He was just trying to do ridiculous shit. Yeah, the iguana was ridiculous. I chuckle at more the stuffed animal than him being an iguana, but even still, not for me. I like some comedy too. I like a lot of comedy in wrestling, but when it's funny, this was just you're dressed up like a fucking creature. What's funny about it? Like the guy that makes pizza. It toasted the dough. It's Tony the Pizza Man. So what do you do now? You spun the dough. Where's the rest of the character? Like Gilbert, at least he could do a jackhammer, a spear, and eat a sparkler. What are you doing? Fucking nothing. Where are you going? Nowhere. Fucking nowhere. That's like the third time I've quoted that today. I think I need to watch Boondock Saints again. I have not watched that in a long time, and I'm telling you, that's up there as far as favorite movies go. And shepherds we shall be, for thee, my lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand, so thy feet may swiftly carry out thy command, and we shall flow forth a river to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. In nomine Patri, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. So, probably not, Liz. We do have a full house tonight, but I do want to talk to you about SmackDown at some point. Unfortunately, with me breaking my foot and Danny being so under the weather, it's been a busy week with doctors and whatnot, so I've not had really any free time or any sleep. Such a good movie, Cody. Absolutely. But if it's not a packed house, I will let you know indeed. But I'm pretty sure tonight's going to be a full boat, so I went ahead and I need to get that movie watched so it's not stuck in my head at some point. But I went ahead and I did give a good, go through with the predictions. Cody and I in the last Into Somewhere weekly went ahead and broke that all down. So you guys can also go ahead and check that out if you want more detail and everything that's going on for tonight's Money in the Bank. Then you can go ahead and check out the latest edition of Guilty or Guilt-Free. Cody came up with the theme this week. We were discussing the feud between Liv and Rhea. Who's guilty? Who's guilt-free? What are we going to go ahead and do? Next, you'll have to go ahead and find out as well, because those will be out bi-weekly. And then we'll also have some small in-between shows as well with the Into Somewhere shorts with news dates, as I put out the other day about R-Truth and how sad I was that he was fired. So, yes, indeed. But I thank you all for being here. We will see you all in a little bit for the review. I hope you all have a great night. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that like button. And make sure you hit that bell. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you in a little while.
Jake calls a shot, Spaz breaks the game. Cody's in the fray, adding to the flame.